In this video, I'm going to show you to...
Mom, I'm bored.
I don't want to do that.
Mom, there's nothing to do.
Daddy, I'm bored.
That's so boring.
Mommy, I am so bored.
All right, if you're hearing anything like that in your home, this video's for you. I'm going to show you how to approach this differently than you and I tend to approach this problem, so that we can support our kids and help them move forward long-term in their hearts the right way. And as we do, I'm going to give you 6 boredom buster ideas for your child to empower them to change this for good. Hey everyone, I don't know about you, but when a child approaches me like this, it can be really challenging because that child is in this complaining space for themselves. And they're whining and complaining, and that's not a productive space. And we need to let our children know this is not going to work. This is counterproductive long term for you. But a lot of times as parents, we get frustrated. We start to say things like, well, would you try this? What about this? What about this toy? What about that? And the kid's just like, no, no, no. And then we get frustrated. Well, then fine, be bored. And oh, it doesn't go the right way. What we need to do instead is we need to help shift our child over to solutions and being more solution oriented. So I'm going to give you a few approaches that you're going to use to change this up, and then we'll talk about 6 boredom buster ideas. So if your child approaches you the same way my kids just acted out right there, you want to use a little bit of firmness by challenging your child to redo that interaction. You want to say something to your child like, whoa, that's a whining, complaining attitude. You want to be more respectful when presenting your problem. Try again and let your children try that interaction again. A lot of kids aren't going to know exactly what to say, so you can even tell them like, whoa, that sounds like whining. You meant to say, Dad, I'm having a problem. I'm not so sure what I should do. Can you help me? That's more productive. That's opening up our hearts and looking for feedback now rather than just coming and whining. That's the way we want to approach our kids. Once our kids have changed the tone of voice there, we then want to empathize with them in that moment. We want to say something like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That must be tough. Something like that to let them know I'm on your side. I'm here to support. I'm here to help you move forward. That's how we can help them first, is by empathizing with the emotion they're experiencing at that moment. Some children are going to open up at this point and tell us a little bit more information, especially if we say something like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Tell me about it. You're inviting them to tell you more. Other kids are just going to kind of understand that you're on your side there, and you want to then move into this question. You want to ask them, are you looking for some solutions, or do you just need to talk? What we're doing in this situation is we are highlighting the fact that we solve problems in the context of relationship, and relationship is so important. We're taking time to work on that first. And so I'm making sure you're okay. I'm empathizing with you, and I'm giving you a chance to have some voice into this problem, as well as some voice into what direction we go in, either just some more empathy or problem solving at that point. Once our child has invited us into the problem solving portion here and said, no, I want some ideas, now's where we can start offering some ideas, some solutions. But I want you to hold back just a little bit. One of the heart tools that God uses with us is transferring responsibility. And so we want to transfer responsibility to our children as much as possible as well. And so rather than just listing off a bunch of ideas and making a bunch of suggestions, we want to bring them on board into this problem-solving process. And we can have a third person in the room that I call the Boredom Buster board. The Boredom Buster board is just a piece of paper or cardstock with some ideas listed on it, and I'm going to give you some ideas to put on that board right now. But it's some ideas listed on it that your kid over time knows we can go here, and this has some general ideas with some specific examples to help us overcome feeling bored. What that does, having this board over here, is it depersonalizes all the ideas, because this is no longer you rejecting all my ideas. This is you as a child interacting with this board here that we built together, that you came up with some ideas for this board as well. And now this is becoming that third person in the relationship here, having this conversation so we can solve the problem of I'm feeling some boredom right now. So what goes on this Boredom Buster board over here? Well, the first thing that's going on there is be creative. When we say be creative, a lot of us immediately think of arts and crafts, drama, singing, music, dancing, and yes, all of that can be listed under be creative. You can make a list of be creative ideas, you could put little pictures up, whatever you want to do, be as creative as you want on that Boredom Buster board. But I want you to also to broaden your horizons and thinking about being creative. You know, when children engage in STEM activities, that's being creative as well. And so maybe you have a child who's a little bit more mathematically or engineeringly inclined. You want to include some of those ideas on the Be Creative portion of this Boredom Buster board. The second idea for the Boredom Buster board is building relationships. This can include making phone calls to grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, people we don't normally see, neighbors who we don't talk to as much as we'd like to. It can include writing letters or making pictures and note cards to those same exact people. It can include writing emails. You could do a text message challenge and have your child send 10 blessing text messages to 10 people they don't normally talk to. Now suddenly, it's a good thing for them to be on a device because they're building relationship here. The third idea for the Boredom Buster board is serving others. Initially, a lot of kids don't really see why this is such a great thing, but when kids catch a vision for serving others, for honoring others, treating them as special, doing more than what's expected, and having a good attitude, this becomes a favorite go-to. So for example, baking some cookies, packaging them up in little Ziploc bags with a little note, and going around the neighborhood and delivering them all. That's really exciting. Or just baking those cookies for a sibling as well. That's even exciting too. And of course, yes, I'm going to taste the batter as well if I'm a kid. Doing things like taking on a chore for a sibling that they were supposed to do, or finding some flowers and dandelions in the backyard that you cut and put in a vase and decorate for your mom and dad for the dining room table. Blessing others and serving others is what Jesus does. And so encouraging kids to think this way when they're feeling bored is really helping them grow in their hearts. If you like these first three ideas, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me right now so I know that this video is helping you. The fourth Boredom Buster idea is self-improvement. Now this includes a lot of different things. Of course, reading books is always a good thing, and so reading books goes under the self-improvement, even if it's just imagination type books, fantasy books, fiction books, because guess what? You are still improving. You are learning things about the cultures and worlds of those books. If there's any historical fiction, you're learning some of that as well, but you're also broadening your horizons and deepening your imagination. That's always great self-improvement. So yeah, reading books is great. Learning a new skill and getting some books out from the library there, trying things out. Learning a new skill is fantastic. Working on a favorite hobby is another self-improvement thing that your child can do. Picking up a new instrument and learning that. Trying out something that they've never tried before is a great way to work on self-improvement. Another self-improvement idea, memorizing Bible verses and being able to retell Bible stories like a Bible storyteller. A fifth Boredom Buster idea is rest. A lot of times this is not high up on anybody's list, but sometimes boredom is actually a result of being overtired, and so sometimes our kids just need to rest. The sixth Boredom Buster idea is imagination. That's a limitless idea. Let your kid do whatever their imagination is filled with. They want to take Play-Doh out and start creating a whole scene from Play-Doh. Let them do that. They want to grab some of the boxes from some of the packages you've gotten recently and create an entire castle. Go for it. Whatever their imagination is exploring, it broadens their horizons and gets them thinking in new and imaginative ways. And it gets them thinking like God thinks, because God's creative. Look at the world around us, and he's got a wonderful imagination, and he's given your child that too. So go ahead and imagine. If you found this video helpful, I want you to know you can get a whole lot more that this video talks about in a book called Home Improvement, written by Scott Turansky and Joanne Miller. They're the co-founders of the National Center for Biblical Parenting. And they took the book Home Improvement and also turned it into a digital course as well. If you're interested in that digital course, you can go ahead and click on the links down below. One link is for families, another link is for churches to check out as well. It's fantastic, this Home Improvement digital course, because guess what? I don't know about you, but I'm a parent and I don't always have time to read. But I always do have time to watch a few minute videos here and there. It's great if I can read the book too, but the digital resource is fantastic. It's going to change the way your family lives life. You're going to understand the principles of a heart-based approach, and you're going to learn how to implement them in your family life right away. The book itself is fantastic. The subtitle is actually Home Improvement, the parenting book you can read aloud to your kids, because it's got stories in there that kids love to hear also. But the digital resource is also fantastic, and it's all updated as well. So go ahead and check that out in the links down below. And if you're hanging around YouTube a little bit longer, let me suggest you check out this video that's next up in my library here on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you real soon. Bye, everyone.